touching the truth.
It is 99.8 FM KCC Live, and this week on the Cake Club, I am joined by another very special guest who is one of the hugely talented songwriters behind some of your favourite K-pop songs. Here in our team, The Hub, have been involved in some amazing projects over the last few years, and we're going to talk about them all today. So I'd like to give a very warm welcome right now, and she is all the way in South Korea. It's the lovely Charlotte Wilson. How are you, girl?
Good, thank you, and thank you so much for in the studio. We're writing some hits right now, like we don't sleep. You know, this
That's
is what
amazing. So when did you move there?
I moved here about 2 months ago now.
Okay, so not that long ago.
Oh, no, not that long ago. The visa process was really long, you know, due to COVID and everything. So I had to apply for a visa. You know, my company had to sponsor me. And get me to Korea. So it was a lengthy process. It was like a 5-month process. So we got here 2 months ago, and it's been dope ever since.
Quite a change from London, I suppose. Is that where you're originally from?
Yeah. Originally, well, I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago, so I actually grew up in the Caribbean. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
In the UK.
And
then I moved to Trinidad when I was 7, and I came back when I was 17. So I spent 10 years on my there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of different like life experiences, like a lot of different like cultural backgrounds that you've already like experienced. That's amazing. Not a lot of people can say that. But like, have you been finding quarantine and things?
You know what? I quarantined with one of my teammates, so it was fine. Literally, the 2 weeks went by so quickly. We had fun. We actually wrote a couple of songs there, and we just chilled. But I know my team members who actually got put in a facility, but it's really just like a 4 or 5 star, 4-star hotel, I think. They couldn't come out of their room. They were stuck there 24/7. They were given breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but had no human contact. They literally couldn't come out of the room at all.
Yeah.
So I think they found it a bit hard.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
When we celebrated, and it was really nice to see them. But me personally, my quarantine was great.
Very productive, making the most of the time. That's the best thing, because see, I was supposed to be traveling there in June, and then obviously with COVID, like we were like, we've got no choice but to cancel it, because obviously I found out about all the restrictions that were coming into place, and I was like, I don't want my first experience in Korea to be at a facility and then having to pay the whole time that I'm there, so I just think it's worth waiting for. But it sounds like you've had a great time.
I have, I don't really complain. Korea have dealt with, COVID a lot better than, say, the UK.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
When I landed here, they were on a lockdown. I think they were at stage 2 and then 2.5. Now we're at stage 1, so it's not as bad. But it was tough out here for a while. But I think now it's okay.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that you're safe and you're able to get things like sorted, and I'm just really happy for you, and congratulations on the move. I hope it's everything that you imagine it to be. So I just want to talk to you first about your own life and about how all of this started for you. So can you tell me when you first started songwriting and what it was that made you want to pursue a career in the music industry?
Okay, so I first started songwriting when I was actually in the Caribbean. So I think I was like 7.
Oh, amazing.
7 or 8. I remember I wrote my first song. I used to want to sing it all the time to my mom. I just wanted her to listen to me songwrite and stuff. So when I was 7, I wrote my first song. Now, how I actually made that transition into K-pop is weird. I remember I was on YouTube, and this was like YouTube. We didn't have any HD. Okay, the old YouTube. And I was watching an Usher concert, and I saw his opening act was an artist called Rain.
Ah, okay.
right? And this was the first time I'd ever really seen, I guess, you know what, just a song in another language that I didn't
Mhm.
understand, but at the same time, I thought it was popping.
Mhm.
And Rain, I'm Coming. So at this point, I think I'm around 16,
Mhm.
around 16 at this point. Um, and so I started to listen to Rain. I listened to all his songs. Then I found G Dragon
Yeah.
on YouTube, and then Big Bang, and then DBSK, and then um,
All the
who?
classics.
Yeah, everyone. I was like, oh my gosh, this actually exists. I can't believe it. I actually love these songs, but I actually
Yeah.
didn't understand what they were saying at all. So
Yeah.
that's when I decided, okay, I didn't actually know it was called K-pop at the time either. I
Mhm.
just knew that I liked the sound of this music. So then I got back to the UK in 2007, and I decided it was time to go to college. And I decided that I'm going to do sound engineering at college. So I started to do sound engineering, started to produce music, but I always had K-pop in the back of my head.
Mhm.
Just I just wasn't too sure how I was going to do it. It
Yeah.
was in language, and I wrote in English. How could I write a song that they would take? I didn't understand. Um, so I went to college, and one of my teachers was a star in the 80s called Stevie V, right?
Okay.
And they had a competition to submit music to a publisher to write music for the advert. And so I won that competition, and I got in touch with a publisher. And I always remembered K-pop, and I thought, okay, well, maybe you'll take my songs. Can you like send this to Korea?
Yeah.
Just like I didn't actually.
Worth a shot. Yeah.
And I didn't even know if they had links in Korea, but I was like, please, just like send it. At this point, I was, I think, 18 or 19. So now I'm heading into university. And I was told that a couple of groups were interested in songs. So we're talking about 16 to 19. So 3 years, these songs are just out here
Yeah.
sitting around doing nothing, and you forget about it and you just continue with life. I think I had even stopped doing music at that point in time just to study and concentrate, because I
Yeah.
went to uni to study music entertainment management,
Ah, okay. Yeah.
the behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
And then I got called, and they said that one of my songs had been cut, and I didn't know what a cut meant. I was like,
Ah.
oh my gosh, is that bad? No.
Yeah, because you think, oh my God, they're not going to use it. Yeah.
I thought it meant cut from their roster, their catalogue. And they were like, no, no, that's good. I was like, really? What do you mean? And this means a group wants to actually sing your song. And I was like, sing it in English? They were like, no, sing it in Korean. I was like,
Oh.
I remember when I got told. So my actual first cut was with a group called, and I don't remember them. D Unit.
Okay. Yeah.
A group called D Unit. They disbanded like shortly afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, my song was called Love You, but I know that they changed the title. Really thought, okay, I really want to do this. Like, this is something I really want to do, but how could I do it? Due to university and everything, I actually took a break. I took like a 5-year break out of writing
Wow.
songs.
Yeah.
And then skip forward. So I'm now 20, say, 5? Yeah, about 25, 26. And I've
Mhm.
decided, okay, I really want to get back into songwriting. At this point, obviously, technology had advanced. YouTube, there was everything on YouTube. K-pop had become, it had progressed.
Yeah.
A lot of people knew about K-pop. There were a lot more groups,
Mhm.
and it was worldwide. And so it made me want to get back into music a lot more, but I didn't know where to start off.
Yeah.
The pub that I had used before, we didn't really have any communication, so I actually had to start from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I did, I just started to record myself. I got the software, got the equipment, and started to record songs. I reached out to producers and just started to do it. And then I managed to get some cuts in Japan first. And then I actually met my team members now. And I saw the success of other writers out there at the time. And that made me just wanted to get into writing a lot more. It was
Yeah.
the drive and seeing that other foreign writers could do it, I could do it too. So that's what made me want to really get into K-pop and, you know, try and make my dream come true. I wanted to see a group perform a song that I had done.
Yeah.
From choreography to the sets to the concepts, I wanted to make it happen.
Yeah.
So
I feel you. That's like totally my vision too. It's like all I can think about, you know, especially as like an avid like K-pop listener. So yeah, I totally feel you on that one.
it can happen. Trust me. When it happens, you're quite overwhelmed by it all. Trust me, it goes very quickly, and next thing you
Yeah.
know, the song's out and you're watching it. Hearing music in another language that I didn't understand, but it really just touched my
Moving,
soul.
yeah, totally.
Spoke to me, and that's really what made me want to put my mark on K-pop.
Yeah.
Hear what I could show them, and you know what I wanted to give them, and then perform it to the world.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, I'd say yeah, that's what gave me that drive to want to.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's funny because that was actually my next question was like, how did you like get into K-pop? So that's perfect. So I know that you said that you've met your team and things, but can you tell me how the hub started? Because am I right in thinking that you're pretty much like the founder of it? Like it was you who kind of had this idea?
I'm a co-founder.
Okay, right.
I'm one half, and then there is another half, and his name is Brian Yu. So I'd say he's like the Korean headquarters, and I'm like
Okay.
European headquarters, should I say?
Like representative kind of like, yeah.
We found it, so we kind of came together, and then we've become
Nice.
a hub. So it actually started off with myself for the European side. We
Mm-hmm.
then met my teammates Frankie and Jacob. They're brilliant singers. Like Frankie sounds like Ariana Grande, and Jacob just sounds like, who would I say Jacob sounds like? Khalid.
Okay.
Yeah, he sounds like Khalid. Yeah. So I met them and I started writing with them. I used to sing a lot of my demos, but sometimes you just need a better voice. My voice isn't an Ariana Grande voice. That's where Frankie just came in, and she's a really good writer too. And Jacob also for all the male demos that we wanted to do. So it was
It's a nice mix for like
yeah.
the male leads and like the female leads, yeah.
So it was us three. And then we then managed to meet another set of producers, which were Jan and Rajan. And they are dope producers. And then through just that network, we managed to then meet other writers in my team, Shanti, RI, and Nudio, and IU. So it was like we were all singers and songwriters. So we were doing our thing over here.
Yeah.
And I met Brian about 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And he owns a studio here in Korea. And, you know, many idols have recorded in this studio. Many albums were mixed here.
Wow.
And edited and engineered here. So he holds a huge catalog. And so we just decided to make a production company, the songwriting and music production company. It was also one of my dreams as well. And so that's kind of how the hub became the hub. It was two forces that came together, and now we are the hub. So we have a Korean side, we have Korean producers, we have European producers, you know, so we just make music all the time. This is what we're here to do. So it's kind of like a hub of talent.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. And I love the fact that I remember you telling me that you have a subunit as well, but it's just like the girls. That's
Uh,
amazing.
Powerpuff.
Ah,
Yeah, we're quite colourful. Like Frankie has blue hair, IU has pink hair. I used to have blonde hair, but no more. And then he was blonde. She's now half blonde. And then Nicole has black hair. But we're just Powerpuff. Okay, there's five of us.
I really love the fact that you have like a lot of like females working there, like a lot of female empowerment. You can all lift each other up, strong female figures. I love that so much. So there's a lot in your team, right? Is that so? Like, how many of you guys
Oh,
all
I'd
together?
say
I'd say.
15 of us.
Okay,
I
that's strong team. Really
it's
strong
big.
team. I like it. So obviously I can see in the background you've got a nice collection of signed albums. Lovely. I'm
Yeah.
super jealous. I saw the Gateway one and I was like, oh, I just wanted to cry. I'm such a huge Aroha, so I have to just throw that out there.
Really?
When I heard Knock, I mean, obviously, I'm quite new to the K-pop songwriting world. I've only been writing for K-pop specifically for about a year. Haven't had any cuts yet, but you know, it's one of those things. It's like I'm growing, I'm learning, yeah, networking and stuff. So, you know, like I was never really that clued up on kind of like how many Western writers and like European writers are involved in the actual songs. And when I
There's a
saw
lot.
Knock, I was like, oh my God. And I was friends with you on Facebook. And I remember seeing your profile picture of you with the boys. And I was like, what? And we have a lot of like mutual friends and stuff. So yeah, I just have to throw it out there. But you guys have obviously worked with Astro, Moonbin and Sanha. You've also did ITZY's Not Shy. So can you just tell me what the writing process is like for you guys? Like when you get a lead coming in, how it usually works? Like, are you like splitting yourself into teams?
Yeah. Well, I guess with Knock
Mm-hmm.
specifically. So we went to the Netherlands for a camp. And we weren't too sure who we were going to write for yet. And you know how the industry is, you get sent a brief and you know you get references.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we actually sat down in the Netherlands and we're going to start that session that day, we actually got a brief through. And you know, it was for Astro. And I knew of Astro. I knew of like one member.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, I knew their style, but I wasn't too sure about it. So the instrumental that we actually worked on, which was Knock, we had actually got it a couple of days before, and we were just going to write it like it was for a generic boy group. When I say generic, just a good sounding song.
Yeah.
And so when we realized, okay, we could potentially give this to Astro, we had to think about it a bit more. So how this song came about was our member Nudio actually started the melodies off. So he actually did the melodies at home, right? And a lot of the melodies is what Knock is based off of, was what Nudio
Okay.
right. So in that Knock session, we picked out the melodies that we wanted to use, the ones that Nudio had already done, but there needed to be rewrites in the pre, the chorus, the bridge, like there were things that needed to be added. So in a session, what we usually do is we usually just play the beat. We kind of had a concept for this already. I had done some of the melodies with Nudio prior to the session, sorry. So we had a concept, and the concept was actually you. So Knock wasn't called Knock was called You.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Play the instrumental out, and then we'll just vibe over it. We'll come up with different melodies, everyone will have a run on it, and we'll just try and, you know, get the hookiest thing. We already knew the concept was You, meaning it was about a girl that we wanted. It was a love song, basically.
Yeah.
So we knew what kind of vibe we wanted on it. So once all the melodies were kind of put down, we then pick and choose, okay, which would be good for the pre, which would be good for the chorus, and we probably would mesh people's ideas.
Yeah, take like other parts, yeah.
Right, and you'd get like a solid structure.
Mm-hmm.
And we go through the whole song like that. And then we listen back to it and make sure all the parts make sense. You know, you also have to remember
with Astro specifically, they have 2 rappers.
Yeah.
So we knew that, right, we knew that rap would have to be in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
In Knock, it's actually in the it's in the second verse, and it's in the bridge.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just had to incorporate those things. And so once that was done, lyrics then come. Most times in K-pop, they won't keep the lyrics, but the lyrics, you know, should kind of make sense and should stick with the concept of the song. This was the first time we had written a song, actually second time, we had written a song targeted for a group, and it actually went for that group.
That's amazing.
We wrote it for them and it landed with them, and that was an amazing thing. So that was how Knock came about, which was originally called You.
That's so interesting. Like, as an Aroha, like, I love the fact that, like, I get to know, like, the backstory behind all of that. I'm, like, praying that one day I can own one of those albums too, and it'll be, like, signed to my name. Yeah. Thank you for writing this song for me. And I'll be like, thank you for singing it. It was going to be perfect. So, what about ITZY? Like, Not Shy, was that already your concept, or, like, did they change that as well?
Yeah, no, they actually changed that. So the original concept for Not Shy, it was actually called Big Boots.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was it sounds exactly the same, but it was just Big Boots instead of Not Shy.
Okay, I can hear that, yeah.
But the concept was pretty similar, you know, it was about girls that weren't shy,
mm-hmm.
you know, just...
confidence.
Confident girl talking to a guy, and that's literally what it was. With that song, I wrote that song quite quickly. I think I wrote that song in like 2-3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
ITZY were my dream group, and once I heard that this could potentially get to them, I just was like, yes,
this is my moment. Yeah.
Literally was like, my moment, I'm going to write something they can definitely sing. That's why in the chorus they say their name, because I actually put that in the chorus.
Yeah, you like manifested that. You totally did that on purpose. Yeah.
I'm from the Caribbean, so the verse is very it's kind of like reggaeton, bashment, kind of like, you know, it's got flavors in there.
Yeah,
and that's what I want the verse to sound like. So I tapped into my heritage. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to give the girls everything.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let them have it. So that's why the verse is a mashup of everything, because I just went on it. I was like, yeah. And so that's why Not Shy sounds the way it does.
Yeah.
Concept. I give the concept to JYP because he wrote the lyrics for it.
Yeah.
And so changing my concept into Korean and then changing it to Not Shy, he did such a great job.
Yeah.
Like, I really to him. But my version sounds just like their version, just different lyrics.
That's fantastic. Oh my god, I'm so like happy for you. Like, it was your dream group to write for, and you finally did it, and that's amazing. And I'm pretty sure that you're gonna get another call with them, 100%. Yes, definitely.
You don't think these things will happen. You watch everybody else and they're getting cuts and you're like, can you do it?
Yeah.
You start to second guess yourself, but don't. Just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, when you get a track come through, is it ones that's like already made from like the record label, or have the hub kind of got some involvement in the music behind it, or?
Yeah, so I guess you can have different kinds of submissions, and you know, obviously the hub is a production and songwriting company, so we have many tracks produced by the hub producers.
Mm-hmm.
But myself as a top liner, I will also top line on other people's work.
Yeah.
And so in the Not Shy case, I top lined a JYP producer's track.
Nice.
But yeah, you have various ways. But I usually now work with the hub producers, but I'm a top liner, so some people still do ask me to top line, which I do.
Yeah.
That's how you have kind of two different ways it can go.
I have to ask you, you've kind of already answered, I would say, like your favorite group to work with so far. I should imagine it's been ITZY because they were like your, dream. But have you got any other favorites? And is there anyone that you want to work with in the future?
ITZY have been my favorite. Actually, well, yeah, ITZY have been my dream. My favorite to work with will probably be Astro.
Okay, yeah, I love that
Because
answer.
they called us. They actually came on Zoom and thanked us for the
Did
song.
they? That's so sweet. Oh.
In the recording session, before they were going to record the song, they videoed us to say, okay, so they were very engaging. They engaged, not to say ITZY didn't, because ITZY, they're dope too.
Yeah.
They're dope. But I liked the experience of Astro calling us, that personal touch and stuff. And they came and recorded here, so they were able to say hi and stuff like that.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, so Astro, they're really down to earth, really cool guys.
Oh, so happy. I love them.
Is they're normal guys. They chill. Yeah. They've got
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So I
so lovely.
I do want to work with a couple of groups though. I think 80s are a group.
80s are fantastic. Yeah. I played them a lot on the show. My friend from uni actually went to school with one of them. He was friends with yeah, they both went to SOPA together. It's really funny because like he always tells me stories about like when they were at school together and stuff. Showed me like pictures of them. So yeah.
That's really cool. Oh, that's dope. But yeah, 80s are, I think, dope. Stray Kids, they seem like they're popping right now.
Yes.
I'd like to write for them. They're swaggy as well. Mamamoo.
Yes, girl power.
I need to call them and be like, yo, work with you. I'd like to work with Twice. Red Velvet, of course. I definitely like to work with ITZY again. They're like, I've got them. G Idol's good.
Yes, definitely.
CLC. Yeah. Maybe Eyez On or Eyez One.
Yeah. I don't know for a second that you're going to be able to do all of like these groups. Like I think you've totally got the right attitude for it, and like you're a fan of the music as well, so like you know how it sounds. It's always like a plus when you actually listen to the music and you know how it works, because there's times when like I've had sessions with people for K-pop and they're like, I've never even listened to K-pop, and I'm like, well, my phone, pull up YouTube, and I'm gonna teach you. We're gonna go down that wormhole together, and we're just gonna roll with it and have fun. But you're so lucky to be able to have such like intimate moments with them as well, because not a lot of writers actually get to meet the artists, and I think it helps obviously that you're in Korea, but like you got to meet like the BOYZ as well, and as you say, Astro.
London. The BOYZ was so funny.
Really? I can imagine.
They know English well.
Oh, fantastic.
So understood. And I met them just before I flew out to Korea as well last year.
Okay.
So I've met Kang Daniel. And
you met them through your publisher or just like through like the people that you work with?
I met them through the people that I work with. And obviously the hub, before the hub was the hub, it was You Productions, and like I said, many idols have come here, many idols know this studio. And used it, so they're not shy of this studio. So sometimes you no pun intended though. They know here, so sometimes they'll come through, like when K came through, they recorded the album here. So when they came back, they knew here, and it just so happened that I was here and I had just written their title song.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So getting to see them. So when we saw Kang Daniel, it was the same thing. And I wish I was here to meet Astro, but at that time I was still in the UK, but they called us.
Oh,
So see, I'm yet to meet them, but I'm definitely going to try.
yeah, you definitely will.
Yeah, meeting them reminds me of exactly what I've done. Sometimes it doesn't hit you until, like, I came here, and in Myeongdong there was an entire should I say store dedicated to Not Shy.
Wow.
And
Proud
so
moment right there. You're like, wow, like I did this. I can imagine that felt unreal.
right, and I saw it on I was at the Coex Mall and I saw it live on the big screen. So it doesn't hit you until you're here, and being in the UK, you know, you're quite far away. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's overwhelming.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
so when
I
you
can
get your
imagine.
first cut and it's your first title, yeah. And I think the weirdest thing about Not Shy was I had actually met ITZY a year before that.
Wow.
Yeah, I had met them. They came to the studio to record, but I didn't know. I knew it was ITZY, but I didn't really know it was them.
Yeah.
I saw them. I was like, I'm gonna write for that group. That's who I'm gonna write for. I'm gonna get their title. And so a year later, to land it,
You manifested it again. You did all that yourself. That's so amazing. I'm like super proud of you. Like this is the first time that we spoke, but I feel like so much pride because I feel like, you know, I'm kind of in the same position as you with, you know, just such a love and such like a passion for K-pop. So like I can totally imagine how that must feel for you. But I just want to know how people can have involvement with the hub. Is there like a contact information page or like whatever if anyone wants to join or like anything like that? Is that possible?
yeah, sure. You know, we're always open. We're on Instagram, and there's contact information there, but our email is the hub music 88, so that's 88 at gmail.com. So sending those line instrumentals, like, you know, we're always open to hear what people have out there to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, you know,
I'm just
I
gonna
think
slide to the DMs after this. Make myself acquainted.
but you know, reaching out is the best thing you could do. You know, I had to reach out to so many people, and you know, people will turn you down. People will be like, okay, you're not quite there yet, but it's for you to just, you know, work on your craft and
experience. Yeah. Oh, amazing. Well, the last thing that I want to ask you before we finish is what advice would you give to songwriters or musicians that are interested in, I mean, I suppose K-pop specifically, but I think probably just being like a writer in general. Like, what advice would you have for like a little 12-year-old girl in Trinidad, or, you know, just who wants to do what you're doing right now?
Practice.
Yeah.
So just be at home and practice and really hone your craft, really know what your sound is, and practice writing different genres. You know, just getting better at vocal production and editing your own vocals. If you're not really a singer, you can actually still make yourself sound okay. There's ways you can do it. If something isn't in your range, you can actually slow down the track, sing it at a slower BPM or slower speed, and then speed it back up, and your range, you know, becomes higher. That's what with Not Shy actually isn't in the right key for me. My range is just outside of it. We had to slow it down and record it slightly slower, put it back to the original, and it became that sound. So if you're just somebody that is just starting off, practice, watch a lot of videos. Unlike somebody already, that could probably help you in putting down demos, because then you can mold your voice to sound like them and pitch demos to them. You know, and I guess people that I look up to is a songwriter, singer called Esther Dean, and she actually sounds a lot like Rihanna and Nicki Minaj. And so she was somebody that was working at a coffee shop, or I think at a diner. And she was just doing demos. And then finally, when Rihanna's people got hold of them, because she sounded like Rihanna, they took a whole load of her songs.
Yeah.
You know, and she became S. The same with Nicki Minaj. They took a whole load of her songs. So if you're just a songwriter in general, practice, hone your craft, edit your vocals, push yourself, compare yourself to other songs. Is that good enough? Is that quality right? If not, go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
In terms of K-pop specifically, I'd say still practice. You have to.
Yeah.
You must. K-pop, in a sense, has a formula, and it's a very strict formula, one that usually gets placements if you can actually nail the formula. Study the artists that are out there. They're in for a couple of years, then it's actually somebody else. They rotate, and different styles rotate, different styles of writing rotates. And so it's just really about paying attention to, I guess, the sounds of a group. So, for example, if you're writing a song for Monster X, you know how Monster X sounds. You just know as soon as you hear it, right?
Yeah.
It's the same with ITZY. You know, I call ITZY the modern day Spice Girls. That's what they are. They're the Korean Spice Girls. They're very Spice Girl-like.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you're writing for K-pop, know the sound of the group you want your music to go to and mimic that.
Yeah.
Something new. So give them your style, obviously. Like Not Shy is my style, but it still sounds like ITZY.
Yeah.
So I'd say practice, hone your craft, learn how to edit your vocals, collaborate, reach out to people, collaborate and see if people want to write with you. You can learn a lot from other people. You can really learn a lot from other people, hearing other people's demos.
Yeah, definitely.
Your quality to their quality, and you're like, okay, I see, I can understand. Some of your demos may be more polished than others. So one of the biggest things as well is never give up. I know it's really cliche, but you just have to keep going. It's a thing where you may just be doing your own thing on your own. So you can look at it like a bubble.
Yeah.
You're in your bubble doing your own thing on your own. You're getting better, you know, you're honing in on your craft and you're learning. There's somebody over there in their own bubble doing the same thing. They may have contacts that, you know, are higher than yours or bigger than yours in your own bubbles. When bubbles get together, before they pop, they actually stick together, right? So you guys may just come together and then bigger bubble. And then you just attract more bubbles. And then next thing you know, you've got a cut.
I love that analogy.
How it is, because I was cooking my own storm on my own. Then I found Frankie and Jacob who were cooking their own storm. Then Brian, you was doing his own thing. And then we just kind of came together and now it's one big bubble.
Oh.
But that's what songwriting is. If you look at other songwriters, you can actually kind of see their progress, especially on social media, from when they kind of weren't really breaking it to when they just went boom.
Yeah.
And to people, it seems like they arrived overnight, but they've just been behind the scenes working in their own bubble.
Yeah, for sure.
And so like yourself, right now, people may not know that you're just at home writing songs. And then next year you're like, wow, Amber's really cleaned up. She's got all these cuts. Where'd she get all these cuts from? Where's she been all these years? She's been working. And no
behind the scenes. Oh, thank you so much. That is such amazing advice. Probably like the most detailed and informative I've probably ever had. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. And in the future, let's totally have the team come on and we can like chat more about things. I know you've got more top secret projects coming up, but I would say just everybody keep an eye out for the hub and what else is going on. So tell everyone again where they can find you specifically on social media and the hub.
Okay, so my Instagram is I am Charlotte Wilson. Again, that's I am Charlotte Wilson. The hub Instagram is the hub_KR. I'd just like to check that. It's the hub_KR. is the Hub's Instagram, and the Hub's email is thehubmusic88. That's thehubmusic88 at gmail.com. So feel free to reach out to me or the Hub. We're here, we're doing our thing.
Yay, thank you so much. And I'm going to play now for the rest of the show all of the songs that you guys have had involvement in, including ITZY's Not Shy, which is going to be up next. So thank you very much.